Big exciting news to start your afternoon today as a second stimulus package is approved. The president is set to sign it in the next few days. So when are you getting this second stimulus check? Who is eligible? Where will it come? Then FPUC. How are you eligible for FPUC? How will it reactivate? Will it be retro? How much will it work? And how will it span over the next few weeks? I have all those details, including free broadband, free rent, and more, including a 15% increase in SNAP benefits. There's a lot of details in the second stimulus package you may not have heard of until this recording. Plus, EIDL grant. So much exciting news across the board. I'm so excited you joined me. There's a lot of things happening, and I'm going to cover them all in this big afternoon exciting recording of Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Afternoons LALATE. I'm so glad you joined me on this crisp afternoon of Afternoons LALATE. LALATE is now a 24-hour-a-day programming news channel. We're delivering 24 hours a day news to you around the clock. So thank you for joining this news channel. In this recording, I have so much for you, but before, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a video, whether I go taped or live. There's so much hitting across the board. And today you're going to see the second day of our new hit show, Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package. What is that? Right after this video will be Purple, which goes over the big state stimulus you're getting right this week, right this day, right next week. Third Stimulus Package is followed thereafter. It's our new hit show that goes over Biden's stimulus, FPUC retroactive, hazard pay, multiple stimulus checks, and all the things you've been wondering about, like SSI and SSDI, $2,400. That's our new hit show, Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package. Purple's after this, and then Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package. Please subscribe because I don't want you to miss any of these shows. Also, hit the alert button so you get an alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. In this video, I'll be going over all the questions I have seen from you, and they've been incredible questions about your second stimulus check and second stimulus package. Routing times, who's going to get it, who's eligible, when do I receive the money, what did Steve Mnuchin say, is it accurate, is it not accurate, how about FPUC, when do I become active, when do I get the benefits, how do I become inactive if I was active before? All those questions, then the SNAP, then the broadband. I've gotten questions about the broadband. How do I qualify for the broadband? Who gets the broadband? How about the rent? There's a lot of questions about eligibility, routing time, how much, how soon. And the great things that I'm really excited for you is that you are clearly in touch and in tune with the understanding that there's a lot in here for you in the second stimulus package, in addition to a second stimulus check. So with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that there's a lot in the second stimulus package that could be landing in your bank account if you're a family or an individual that makes less than $49,000 2019 earnings. Let me go over the things that individuals will qualify for under the second stimulus package that you may not have known about until the time of this recording. If you made $49,000 2019 earnings approximately as an individual, these are the things you may qualify for under the second stimulus package. Free rent. There's a rent assistance program in there that I'm going to be going over shortly. Second, free broadband. There's a broadband program for free broadband, especially in rural areas, also included in this package that you may qualify for. EIDL grants. There's a special program from EIDL for targeted communities in the second stimulus package. Bet you haven't heard about that either. These are all things that you may qualify for. And then there's more. Childcare. Childcare is provided for low-income families as well. Next, we turn to the other issues. FPUC retroactive, UI, PUA. There's those elements included in here, and I'll go over those as well. And finally, the stimulus check. How those details and how those unfold. A lot of breaking news. Let's get to it. And here's the breaking news. The breaking news is that the second stimulus package and the second stimulus check was passed by Congress last night. It's set to be passed and signed by the president in the next few days. The president has indicated he will sign it. So where are the deal items? How do they work? And how soon do you get the money? Let's go one at a time for each of them. First, the stimulus check. The second stimulus check will be paid to individuals who made 2019 earnings $75,000 or less. The important thing to understand is that if you're a family, a married couple, that the income threshold is double that, $150,000, 2019 earnings. You'll get a $1,200 check, $600 times 2. How big is the household? The household is a family of 4. So it'll pay up to 4 checks per household. 4 times $600, $2,400. So what does that mean, a household? It means that if you're a single mom, 3 kids can get checks. If you're a married couple, 2 kids can get checks. The total size of the household is 4. The size of the check for every individual is always $600. Are adult dependents paid under stimulus check package? No. Adult dependents will not get a stimulus check. Who will get stimulus checks? People 17 years age or younger will get a stimulus check. Next, the routing times. How soon will you get the second stimulus check, and how will it come? If you're signed up for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or Railroad benefits, or you pay your taxes electronically to the IRS, or the IRS actually knows your electronic bank account, you will get it by electronic receipt. If you are signed up for, if you do things by paper check, you'll get it by paper check. If you were signed up for electronic receipt but have changed the banking account, then they will attempt to send it electronically. It will fail. And then they will default it to paper. There's no way to change it. There's no way to fix it. The IRS says you cannot fix it. They will attempt the failure. The failure will effectuate, and then they will default to paper. The failure by electronic to paper may add an additional week on top of this as well. How soon will the stimulus checks land your bank account? Steve Mnuchin yesterday made a series of representations which were grossly confusing and generally inaccurate. Let me explain what the truth of the situation is. You will get the electronic receipt if you're set up for, you will get the funds electronically if you're set up for electronic receipt 10 days after it becomes law. That's 10 days after it becomes law, the date at which the president signs it. 10 calendar days, not business days. That's the first thing. If you sign up for paper receipt, an additional week. And if you're one of those people that's going to have the failure where they attempt electronic and then they're going to go to paper, you may have to add 2 weeks on top of that. So you're not going to see a second stimulus check go out this week. You're not going to see a second stimulus check in your hand this week. You're not going to see a second stimulus check in your hand next week. You could earlier see the second stimulus check in your hand 2 weeks from this week. All right, that's the first thing. The issue about things have changed in my life, not my life, your life. Ultimately, the IRS doesn't know that. If the IRS doesn't know that you recently had a baby, the IRS doesn't know you recently got married, the IRS doesn't know you recently got divorced, the IRS doesn't know you recently changed a bank account, they are not going to pay anything based upon something they don't know. And generally, there may be no way to tell them about that change. This is the fault that I had talked about in the summer of this channel. I had always said, get the non-filer filing on file then in July, August. Don't wait till when this becomes law. This was the donut guys and the imagery that I talked about with the donut guy on this channel. A guy I always referred to as a guy with a donut who sits with his chair in his reclining chair, watches Seinfeld and has his feet up and says, tell me when the check lands in my bank account. Well, if you have changed the bank account, it's not going to find your bank account. If you just divorced your wife and you've moved out and you're at a new home and you have a new address and the IRS doesn't know it, it's not going to know where you are. Ultimately, these problems are going to be big. And so if you are one of those people who has changed addresses or changed bank accounts or changed things, a lot of problems may follow. Ultimately, if you fix things the last time and you got the stimulus check, you don't have to fix it again. And the simplest way to understand it is if the IRS knows where you are or where that bank account is, you don't have to tell them again. You don't have to change it. And if they don't know something about your life, like you've got to divorce or married or divorced again since the last stimulus check, they ain't going to pay based upon those events if they don't know about them. All right, next let's turn to unemployment assistance. Under the bill, UI, PUA, and FPUC would become active and go forward, not backwards, but forward to March 14th, 2021. So what does that mean and how does that work? I know it's a little bit confusing because it is. So let me explain what this means. Your UI and PUA benefits would not functionally lapse, meaning if you are about to run out of weeks, you would not run out of weeks. If you have run out of weeks, they would reactivate your account to then say it's active. So if you are a viewer whose UI went inactive a few days ago, it would switch back to active. Do you have to do anything to make the UI or PUA become active again? It's going to depend on your state. It's too hard for me to predict what all these states are going to say, but you need to watch your state to see whether you have to functionally push a button or click a button or move something to say, hey, reactivate my account. Then, when they do that, you will be on UI and PUA forward to March 14th of 2021. If your state has passed extended benefits, which is extra weeks of benefits, then those extra weeks of benefits will carry you past March 14th, 2021. Then, FPUC. FPUC would start from the date at which it becomes law, approximately, and then pay you $300 a week going forward. Okay? So now the bigger question is routing times. This is the word that I want to use as to refer to when are you actually getting the money. Things like lapse and delay, those words are confusing for some viewers, so I want to make it very simple. When are you actually getting the UI? When are you getting the PUA? When are you getting the FPUC? The important thing to understand is it depends on your state. Some states have very antiquated computer systems for their unemployment departments, and they admit it. Other states have modern computer systems like California. And so the states with the modern computer systems may start paying out your UI, PUA, and FPUC in middle January. Yes, there's going to be a delay of a couple of weeks at best. The worst case scenario is you could see over a month, as upwards of a month and a half to 2 months, potentially, to see a delay on your UI, PUA, or FPUC to land your bank account. This has been warned to Congress for months. They knew this was going to happen, and they have dealt accordingly the way they had. So you may see a period of time in which you're not getting those benefits in your account. Now, if things are backed up, you're going to get the backed up payments altogether. So obviously, if, for example, your state takes a month to get this out to you, they're going to suddenly, when they send the check a month later, they're going to send you all these weeks together in one big package in the deposit. So that's the way that's going to happen. Okay, let's turn to rent. There's a massive program in this stimulus package that provides money for rent. How do you apply for it? Where do you apply? Where does it go? And how does it work? The rent will be paid to people of low income. Again, people who generally make about $49,000 2019 earnings or less. It looks like it's going to require you to be 1 month behind on rent at least, and will pay the back month of rent, the past due month of rent, and then rent going forward, which is great. Utilities going forward, which is great, and also will prevent utility shutoff, which is all really great. How do you apply? Where do you apply? How does it work? It's nothing like what we're told it was going to be done like. I did rent videos on this channel. I'm the only person who did rent videos every single day for months. It was the most unwatched video, but I knew it was very important, and I did it every day. And guess what? Nancy Pelosi ultimately decided to do the rent program differently than she had said. So the way this rent program is going to work is the money is going to be sent to the states and the counties and the cities, who then send it out to you. But you have to apply for it. So what does this mean? It means that when we're talking about state stimulus on Purple every day, and I'm saying, City of Atlanta has a new rent stimulus available. That's the same thing that I'm referring to right now. It's just, instead of me mentioning 3 cities that have rent stimulus, all the cities will have rent stimulus. I'm going to say that again. If you have looked for rent in Ohio or Kentucky or Mississippi or Alabama and say, I can't find anything, don't worry, because when this money is routed to those states and counties, everyone will have money. There won't be a state in which there is no money. The money will be available for all individuals who make about $49,000 in 2019 earnings or less. How do you apply? You'll have to reach out to your city and county and state. It'll be a separate thing for every single city and county. There's no single application, no single website for the entire country. It'll be literally 9,000 different places to apply. There you go. Next, how about broadband? Free broadband will also be provided to low-income families. Those, again, at the same income threshold. And it'll also be provided to rural viewers, people in rural areas where broadband doesn't work. Also, SNAP benefits will be increased 15%, that's 1-5, and it will not increase the eligibility, but it will increase the SNAP. This is one of the things I'm very excited about because I think this will actually land very quickly. This could be certainly landing in the next few weeks very, very quickly, as opposed to rent, which I see as a very slow process. I don't see anyone getting paid rent until perhaps February. I just see it very slow. Next, the second stimulus package extends the eviction moratorium, does not extend the mortgage forbearance, does not extend the student loan debt repayment. And the eviction moratorium is good, but it's not the one that I wanted. What do I mean? The eviction moratorium that extends under the second stimulus package law is a CDC eviction moratorium. The CDC eviction moratorium is a federal moratorium on eviction in which you have to go get the CDC form, download it, give it to your landlord, get a copy, fill it out, and do paperwork. You have to do paperwork. You don't do the paperwork, you're not protected. So this is not one of those things where you can raise your hand and say, I'm protected. On the other hand, if you do the work and give it to your landlord, you are protected. So I've had some viewers say, I'm facing eviction. You're no longer facing eviction. Once this is signed by the President of the United States, that single day, you are then protected. There's also money in here for food. There's also money in here for child care. The child care also stems from how the low-income threshold calculation is done. So with that, the common questions that I get is, what about this item? What about that item? And let me give you a preview of what's coming up on third stimulus check and third stimulus package right after Purple, after this video. After this video on Purple, I go over the state stimulus that you can get right now, $5, $10, $15, $20,000. And then after that show, Purple, I have a new hit show called Third Stimulus Check and Third Stimulus Package. It refers to the Biden stimulus package. It's an expression that I coined on this channel, Third Stimulus Package. What's in there? You will have in there the hazard pay. You will have in third stimulus package SSI and SSDI, $2,400. You will have in there the multiple stimulus check. You will have in there a retro FPUC and all those deal provisions. You'll have another round of rent. You'll have the remainder of your $10,000 EIDL grant. You'll have escalated EIDL loans. You'll have another round of PPP. You'll have a lot of stuff in there like the CDC grant and all those other things. In that video, I'm going to go over the deal provisions, how they're going to work, how the multiple stimulus checks, how the routing times are anticipated to formulate. When would you get this? Which month would you get this? And what will it take to get the bill actually passed? I'll go over that video, which ultimately is going to be the most important video to watch for you to watch on a daily basis after second stimulus check, because it's the next thing coming. It's just a few days away, and the bill will be introduced as early as right after the holidays. For now, join me on Purple coming up right after this, and then join me on third stimulus check and third stimulus package. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay at LA for more.